Time now to take a look at debt. Joining me is the Debt Free Diva. She is Toni Husbands, and she was once $107,000 in debt, but worked her way out along with her husband. Good to have you back on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So today's topic is living together, which can cause some problems with money, of course. So what's your best tip for people who plan to live together or are living together?
So couples that are living together but that are not married should really be very careful about how they manage their finances. My first tip is definitely that they should look at and consider filling out and completing a living together contract. And this basically spells out who's responsible for what and what would happen with your finances in the event that your relationship is no longer, basically.
Does this have to be a legal contract or just something that you write down on a piece of paper so everybody's on the same page?
It should definitely be signed by both parties in the event that you need to actually enforce it. And unfortunately, all relationships don't end amicably, especially if you're living together. If you've commingled funds, it's can be very tricky to kind of untangle if you don't have a document that specifies who is responsible for what beforehand. You can get a copy of an example of one on nolo.com, NOLO.com.
Now, for people who are living together, should they open up joint accounts, joint savings, joint checking, sign up on credit cards together? What do you think? What's your advice?
That is a very, very sticky situation. My advice is definitely keep everything separate. Keep your bank account separate, keep your credit account separate. Do not make your partner an authorized user on your credit cards because unfortunately, again, if the relationship goes south, and nobody likes to think about that in the beginning, but when it does, those are complications that can really put you in a financial bind.
So no ring, separate.
Keep everything separate.
Separate.
Mm-hmm.
All right, another big issue is one person may have a great credit score and the other person may be a shaky credit score.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you make sure that shaky person doesn't bring you down?
It can be tempting because again, in the beginning when you are living together and emotions are doing well, you could be tempting to make that person an authorized signer on your credit card because that actually will help their credit score. You're essentially being a co-signer. But the problem is that person's shaky credit history and shaky financial responsibility can also negatively impact your credit score. So again, couples definitely want to be very, very, very careful before considering making somebody an authorized user on their account or opening joint bank accounts or joint credit cards.
Yeah, a lot of people say, Susie Orman is a big proponent of this too, no co-signing. Just if somebody can't afford something, they should not be buying in the first place.
This is exactly the way I handle it. If I don't have the money to give, and if I can't actually downright pay for something myself, I do not co-sign for anything because the reason a person needs a co-signer is because they haven't shown that financial responsibility in the beginning, in the first place. And so the bank needs somebody else to be on the hook if that person doesn't follow through. So again, yes, if they can't afford it, if they cannot get there on their own, then they need to either figure out a different way or maybe prolong whatever the desire is to purchase.
Have you ever co-signed for somebody and then regretted it?
I actually have never co-signed for anybody.
So that was good.
And the thing is I've loaned money to people before and haven't received that back. So I haven't entangled myself that way because here's the thing. There's a study that says that 3/4 of people that need a co-signer, these 3/4 of people that co-sign end up paying the bill.
Wow, so that's a bad statistic.
Yeah, very bad.
Okay.
So yeah, that's definitely something to avoid if you can.
We love your advice. Thanks for coming on the show.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.